Okay, today is April 2nd and we are ready for math. I hope you're doing okay with these fractions. We're building little bit by little bit each day. Today we're on page 275 and you'll see at the top that it says multiply mixed numbers. Multiply mixed numbers, which we started yesterday, right? So we have the basics. You have exactly what you need to know. But what they want you to do first today is estimating mixed numbers, which we've already done. So really we're just backing up a little bit and we're going to review what we already know. And here's my steps for you. We're going to estimate each mixed number. How are we going to do that? Remember, we look at the fraction part first. Is the fraction more than half? If it is, then that whole number that we see there to the side gets bumped up, because that means that it's closer. Think about measurements. If I'm using 3 3/4 of a cup, that's almost 4 cups, so I can estimate it at 4. But if I have 3 1/4 a cup, it's closer to how many? 3 cups. Okay, so if the fraction is less than half, we keep the whole number the same. It doesn't go down, but it stays the same because that means that the fraction is not big enough to bump us up closer to the next number. Okay, so what they want you to do on 1 through 9 is round each factor to the nearest whole number and then estimate the product. Product, remember, is an answer to a multiplication problem. I'm going to say that again. What is a product? The answer to a multiplication problem. So, let me move up here. Okay, so this is number 1. 3 1/2 times 1 2/6. So first of all, I want to estimate 3 1/2. Well, that's a half. So half or up, I'm going to take the whole number and I'm going to bump it up. So 3 1/2 is closer to 4. Now let's estimate this one. 1 2/6. Is 2 more than half of 6? No. So we're going to keep this whole number the same. So this problem is, instead of dealing with fractions, we're going to estimate it in our head and say that this is 4 and this is going to be 1. So then your answer should be 4 times 1 is 4. So what I want you to put in that bubble, okay, that green bubble beside the problem on number 1, is going to be this whole part right here. Okay, you are going to write what you estimate each number at, and then you are going to write the answer to the multiplication problem. Okay, now let's estimate the next one. 5 1/2. Well, there you go. Half or more. What are we going to call this? We're going to bump it up to 6. So now 2 1/4. Is that less than half? Yes, so that's going to stay 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, next one. 3 5/10. Ooh, what's another name for 5/10? Half, right? So because that's half, we're going to bump it up to a, here's your whole number. So let's bump up the whole number to a 4. Now look at this one. 2 3/8. Is 3 half of 8? No, it's less than half of 8. So we're going to keep that a 2 and multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, that was number 3. Let's look at number 4. 6 3/8. Is 3 half or more than half of 8? No, it is less, right? So here's the whole number. What is it going to be? We are going to keep it at a 6, right? Now look at the next one. 2 and 5, 6. Is 5 more than half of 6? Yes. So instead of 2, we are going to bump that 2 up to a 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay. And this is number 5. 3 and 1/12. 3 and 1/12. So 1 out of 12, is that half? No, not anywhere close, is it? So that whole number is going to stay a 3. 3 times, now look at the 2. 2 and 1/4. 1 out of 4. Is that half? No. So we're going to keep that a 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, I hope that was a good review for you. Like I said, you have already been doing this. We are looking at the fractions. If the fraction is more than half, the whole number goes up. If the fraction is less than half, the whole number stays the same. You should be able to finish 6 through 9 there on your own. Okay, now let's look at 10 through 15 because it says, write the mathematical expression for the phrase. When it says expression, we are going to make sure we are not going to write the answer because that is not what they want. They want us to write the problem, right? The expression. So let's look at 10. The product of 1/4 and 3/8. So 1/4 product means I am going to multiply. So that's what I'm going to write there for 10. 1/4 times 3/8. And it didn't say to give the solution or the answer, so I'm just going to write the expression. Number 11. 3 more than 7 and 1/2. 3 more than 7 and 1/2. So I'm going to start with 7 and a half, and then I'm going to what? Add 3. 7 and a half plus 3, right? Because it says more. The difference, what's that one? The difference of 4/5 and 1/3. 4/5 minus 1/3, right? The difference, I'm going to subtract. 2 and 1/6, this is an easy one. 2 and 1/6 multiplied by 1 and 3/4. Here we go. Let's just write the fractions out. 2 and 1/6 multiplied by 1 and 3/4. Simple, right? They used the word multiply to help me. Okay. 14. 5 sets of 1/2. What does that mean when it says sets? 5 sets of 1/2. It means that I've got 1/2 5 times, right? So what is that? 1/2 times 5. Good. And then the last one there, 2/3 less than 4. 2/3 less than 4. So less than, I know I'm going to subtract, but here's where I want you to be careful. What number is first? Don't write the number that they say first. You have to listen and understand what they're saying. If it's less than 4, that means I'm going to write 4 first. 4 minus 2/3. 4 minus 2/3. Okay. You should know how to do 16 through 19. We've been working on that the last few days, so you do those on your own. Now let's look at the back. Okay, the back is all of this practice on multiplying mixed numbers. Guess what? It's really what we did yesterday, except yesterday they only made you change one number. Today, they're making you change both numbers. Okay, so both numbers are mixed numbers. That doesn't change the process. Both numbers have to be changed to improper fractions first. Got it? Both numbers have to be changed to improper fractions first. Then you multiply, and then you write your answer in to lowest terms. Same thing we practiced yesterday, except you only had to change one number. Okay? I'm going to do a couple with you, and then I'll let you work on this. I know there's quite a bit on this one. Take your time, get up and stretch if you need to, but keep trucking, get it done, you'll be fine. Okay. Let's do a couple of these together, and then I'll let you work, because I know you can do it. Okay, here we go. 5½ times 2 1/4. All right, so like I said, the first thing we need to do is change to improper fractions. So we start here with 5½ Start with the denominator. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and I put it over the denominator. 11 over 2. Now let's do the next one. Start with the denominator. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Slide it over the denominator, which is 4. Now you're just multiplying fractions. So guess what? You just get to multiply straight across. Multiply those numerators first. 11 times 9 is 99. Don't forget to multiply the bottom. You don't have to change denominators. You just multiply. So let's multiply the denominator. 2 times 4 is 8. Now let's fix it. 8 goes into 99. How many times? 12 times, right? Because 12 times 8 is 96. So what's my remainder? 3/8. Okay? Now, let's try 21 together. 21 is 1 2/3 times 3 1/4. So, first step, we're going to change those to improper fractions. Start with that bottom denominator. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Slide it over 3. Do the next one. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Slide it over the denominator, which is 4. Multiply straight across. 5 times 13. 65, right? Is that what you got? 65 over 3 times 4 is 12. So now let's put it back into mixed numbers. 12 goes into 65. 5 times, because 12 times 5 is 60. So what's my remainder? 5/12. This should be a really good practice for your multiplication tables. I hope you still have those pretty solid in your head. Okay, let's do 22, and then I'm going to let you work. 3 3/4 times 2 1/2. Change those fractions. Start with the bottom denominator here. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 more, 15/4 times, let's do this one. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Slide it over that 2. Multiply straight across. 15 times 5. Now some of these are larger multiplication facts, and if you need to, write them off to the side there. Okay, so that's going to be 75 over, what's 8 times 2? 8. 8 goes into 75 9 times, with a remainder of 3/8. Oops. 9 3/8 should be your answer there. The rest of this page is exactly the same way. Change to improper fractions, multiply straight across, change it back into a mixed number. Ready, set, finish it up.